Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision in N-scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for the final episode of 2020, episode 37. This is the final episode of the year and also the final episode on the dismantling of the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision in anticipation of our move from Atlanta area back to Illinois. I started the dismantling almost a month ago, packing up all the cars and structures, all the rolling stock, scenery, material, vehicles, little people, bridges, just everything, and then cutting the layout up into sections. And I've been working on that, like I said, for about a month, and I'm finally getting close to the end where the house will be ready to sell. Make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. There's a very special announcement that I'm going to be making at the end of the layout, so make sure you watch all the way to the end. I'm sure you'll be interested in the announcement. First thing I wanted to share with you is that I do take the backdrop with me. I removed the backdrop. This is a 50-foot long sheet of styrene deck sheathing, and it's painted with latex paint, which is very flexible, and I just roll it up, and the paint stays on the styrene, and I'm able to reuse it as a new layout. As you can see here, I have removed Wheaton and taken it down. Just one little look here again at the sections that have been taken down. In the distance, you have the Mississippi River Bridge, and I think that's Maywood and River Forest. Here we have Franklin Grove. As you can see, Wheaton is taken down. I also took down Elmhurst here. This is where Elmhurst was. Another big hole in the wall. Here's the other side of the hole. And then here we have the last pieces to come down, the proviso yard, the engine facilities, and the classification yard. I was hoping to take this down in two pieces, but it didn't work out too well. Here's some of the boxes of all the stuff. I was able to take some of the boxes, the more valuable boxes with the engines and some of the more valuable rolling stock up to Illinois and store it in my daughter's basement. Don't really trust the movers with that kind of stuff. That's where Maywood was. This is where River Forest was, another hole in the wall. There's our backyard. And this is the closet. I did put the closet door back. And then this is where the east staging yard was. You can see into the other room where the furnace is. Here's how I patch up the holes. It's not rocket science by any means. You may do it differently, but took a couple pieces of plywood and screwed it in to the existing drywall. And then I cut out a piece of drywall to fit and screw it in place. And then I used some mud to fill in the holes. Took a couple of layers of mud on all these. Basically put in the layer of mud, sand it down, add another one, sand it down. Some of these probably have 3, maybe 4 different layers. So you have to keep adding them and then sanding it down so that it's nice and smooth. Some of the mud there you can see is darker than the other mud. That just means it hasn't dried yet. It's kind of a long process because it takes quite a long time to dry. We'll have to usually let it dry overnight. As you can see, I do have, was able to get them all patched up. And while I was waiting for it to dry, I did take down the last 3 pieces. Like I said, I was trying to do 2, but the proviso classification yard did not cooperate, and as I was taking it down, it kind of self-divided into 2 pieces. So it's now 3 pieces. Here's how the wall looks after all the sanding and patching and painting. It looks pretty good. There's the 3 pieces. Trying to get this all ready to go so that we can put it on the market. Can't even tell there was a hole, which is the idea. This is where Elmhurst was. It's where one of the holes was. And so we're getting close. And now for the very special announcement at the end of this video. We were up in Illinois around Christmas time visiting our family. We also spent some time looking at houses. My wife found one that she absolutely loved, and actually I liked it too. It was a very nice house in an older neighborhood. But it unfortunately only had a partial basement, and it was finished, so it had a lot of existing walls. So even though the total space was pretty comparable to what I have here, there really wasn't any feasible way to get everything to fit into this basement. So I got to thinking that maybe this was a sign that I needed to do something big and different with my layout. I've been toying with the idea of doing the opposite of what I've been doing the last 50 years. I've been basically modeling end scale and modern trains and across the plains of northern Illinois. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just do the opposite of that to kind of keep things interesting. And to me, the opposite is HO scale and steam era, maybe the transition era, and mountain scenery. So when we got thinking about this house, I got to thinking about doing just that, HO layout, mountain scenery, and transition steam era. And the more I thought about it, the more intrigued I got about it. And even though it turned out we're not getting that house, instead we may be getting, again, a ranch house with a bigger basement than what I have right now, I still am thinking about switching to HO and starting with a completely new layout, which would mean that this layout will not be resurrected. I'm a little sad about that because I never really had a chance to say goodbye. I took it down with the idea that I would put it back up again. Now that I probably won't put it back up again, it is a little sad to see that I won't be running this anymore. But I am very interested in getting going with a HO layout, and I was thinking of doing an area around Ogden, Utah, just east of Ogden. And I've been kind of looking, that's where the Union Pacific goes through there, and a double track main line. And so I'm thinking about doing that area there with some mountain scenery, and I think I might make it mostly scenery and not so much structures and so forth, and have it be so that I can run both modern trains and steam era trains. Maybe just switching out, of course, the rolling stock. But also the vehicles, maybe a few structures that I do have, switching some of those out. So that's kind of my idea for right now. So this is the official end of the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision. I will be putting up for sale pretty much everything. I will have to take all the turnouts off the layout. So I'll have like 130 skeleton turnouts to sell, and I'll have to take off all the tortoise slow motion switch machines. I won't sell those. I'll keep those for the HO layout. All the Digitrax components, I'll remove those and we'll use that. But then, of course, I'll have all kinds of structures and rolling stock and locomotives, vehicles, just tons and tons of stuff that I'll be selling. The actual layout itself, once I take all the turnouts off and whatever is valuable on it, and I have that removed, I will be hauling all the pieces of the layout to the landfill. So that's where it's going to end up. There is still quite a bit of video here for you to see. So this is the end of the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision, but there will be an HO Union Pacific layout coming very soon once we get moved. This will be the last video on the dismantling of this layout. Probably won't be another video from me until we get into our new house, which could be anywhere from 2 months to 6 to 7 months. So stay tuned for all that, and I hope everyone has a very happy new year and a great 2021. Take care, everyone.